I would like to start our conversation today is actually new breaking news, but it's really significant about ZipDeal, and that's the recognition of a patent, Steve. Congratulations on that.
Yeah.
Would you mind walking us through a little bit? Like what's this patent for ZipDeal cover?
Yeah. So it is a really big deal for me personally, but also for ZipDeal because, I think it's a mile marker for us that is a huge one that really adds a lot of value to what we're doing, adds a lot of legitimacy to the offering of what we've done. When you think about patents and you think about software patents, process patents like this, they're very difficult to obtain. Praise God, we've been able to get one in about 2 years. Now, obviously, this has been the culmination of several years of work, but getting through that process was, fairly tedious, but obviously well worth it. And was pleasantly surprised when I got the notice of allowance from the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office that the ZipDeal patent would be allowed. So, yeah, huge celebration for us. And as far as the process to get that, I mean, it's fairly lengthy. I've been through the trademark process quite a few times. I've got a few trademarks, but never a patent. And so for attorneys to watch them understand and really study what we've put together, and I would encourage anybody, if you have a lot of extra time and you're curious about this stuff, to look up the patent, because it's very interesting how they dissect the actual process, how they dissect the way the software interacts with the networks and the computers. And then, of course, just the different diagrams that go along with that, and then the descriptions. But I don't even know how many pages it is 15, 20, 30 pages. I mean, it's long. But it covers really what is so special about ZipDeal, which is this lane that we've created, the pre-delivery system, and how we're able to basically handle a lot of these loose ends for dealership staff and their customers to expedite their delivery as well as their F&I portion of the business.
Well, it certainly deserves a huge congratulations. I've never filed for one, but I know several people that have. I know that it's a very long, laborious, detailed process. You're absolutely right that it requires the right people, patent attorney, people that have been through this. And I would say if it was around a 2 year mark or 2 year plus mark, I think that says a lot about what you're on in terms of value with Zip Deal, because for a lot of people it takes a lot longer
Yeah.
than 2 years to get through that process. So again, congratulations on that. Are you thinking about it, how it might apply to the future for Zip Deal? Do you feel like it's going to be or already is a competitive advantage?
Oh, definitely, right? I mean, that's why you have patents, right? Is to protect your ideas, and then you get the U.S. federal government to protect you on that. And of course, that spurs invention and R&D and all of this stuff that makes part of our economy really grow is having that level of protection when you do spend the time and effort. Otherwise, a lot of times, I mean, you're just doing all the heavy lifting for somebody else to come in and rip off your ideas. And ZipDeal is a fairly complex software. At the face of it doesn't look overly complicated, but when you really get into the nuts and bolts of how many details that we really address with this system, it is amazing. I think that's part of what separates us from a lot of the other vendor software systems that are out there. I mean, there's a lot of really good ones. And I will say that, I appreciate when a company really thinks through something. There's also a lot of really bad ones that they're just trying to make a buck off of dealers and their customers. And so, for me as a dealer, right, I have the front row view of being able to see inside exactly what needs to be addressed. And then we can create that through our development team to actually come up with something that we can execute at the dealership in person. And so you can imagine the amount of layers and details and how much we drill down to make a vehicle sales delivery process that much more effective for the customer and for the dealership staff.
Well, again, it's a very significant milestone for ZipDeal. And, as an outsider, but someone who continues to learn more and more about ZipDeal, I've said it countless times. I'm a big fan. I've been in this industry for decades. And for my money, ZipDeal, it's a very clear picture of a two-sided coin of value. And what I mean by that is both for the dealership's customers and the dealerships themselves, there's value on both sides of that coin.